The RPM TV Performance Shootout for 2016 is a thing of the recent past, and as part of that shootout we had a Ford Focus ST, which is a car we really like because it offers decent performance at a fairly budget price. But it can't really keep up with the likes of the Renault Megane RS Trophy and the Honda Civic Type R. But now, this morning, we have a chance to sample the ST's more technologically advanced, more powerful, much anticipated, and much angrier brother, the RS. So, how much of a leap forward is the RS over the ST, and can it now compete more effectively against its traditional rivals? Well, in technological terms, the RS is quite a bit better than the ST, so it stands to reason that when it comes to performance, there's a similarly large gap between the two. Some of those highlights include all-wheel drive and a sub-5 second 0 to 100 time. But even when it's standing still, you get the impression that it should be a very capable thing, especially from the back, where things like the rear wing and the integrated diffuser tell you that the RS is not really messing around. Personally, I think it's a brilliant looking car. Yes, that wing may be a little on the large side, but it just fits in with the rest of the Go Faster design. 20-inch wheels, big exhausts and a gaping front air dam all help give the RS a spectacular presence. It's not quite as over the top as the Honda Civic Type R, but it's also not quite as understated as the Golf GTI Club Sport. The Focus has always been a decent looking thing. The RS seems to have taken all the original model's traits and sharpened them to the point where there's no doubt what this car is about. The interior hasn't done quite the same though. Besides some properly sporty seats and a thicker steering wheel, there really isn't a lot different in here. The same materials and the same straightforward, user-friendly Focus. But really, the styling and the interior are probably the least interesting things about the new Focus RS. It's only once you look at the technical pieces and get behind the wheel that things start to get a little bit exciting. Things like the 2.3-litre four-cylinder motor with 257 kilowatts and 440 newton meters, and a bunch of driving modes, including a launch mode. The Focus RS sprints from 0 to 100 in just 4.7 seconds. That's one whole second quicker than the Honda Civic Type R, and it'll reach a top speed of 266 kilometers an hour, which is better than anything its German rivals can offer. This is shaping up to be an interesting machine. It's quicker than its traditional competition, but it's almost as strong as options from the next price bracket. Having driven 7 performance machines not so long ago in our performance shootout has made it a lot easier to compare this car to its natural competitors, things like the Renault Megane RS and the Alfa Giulietta, and also to more expensive, more powerful machines like the Audi RS3. And the initial impression is that this car really does want to fight above its weight. The power arrives early and sticks around until the rev limit, and it makes a pretty good noise while developing some impressive speed. The 6-speed manual has a good set of ratios and a satisfying shift action, and in a move that will please a lot of people, Ford have opted to fit the RS with a manual gearbox only. No automatic or DSG nonsense for this performer. In terms of the drive, the power is definitely a highlight, but there is one other thing that is perhaps more impressive, and that's the all-wheel drive system. And not just because of the grip and the confidence that it delivers, but because of the way it delivers it. This thing has way more feel than just about anything else I've driven in this class. Up to 70% of the torque can be sent to the rear axle, and from there a vectoring system allows that torque to be split again between either rear wheel, depending on grip requirements. It's all very clever and very quick and very satisfying indeed. But it'll also misbehave if you want it to. Check out rpmtv.co.za for a demo of the Focus RS's drift mode. But what's it like when you're forced to drive it in more normal conditions? Well, we haven't had that much opportunity to, we've had no opportunity to see how it would fare in everyday conditions, but to be honest, it doesn't feel as though it would be that horrible. Sure, it's got a firmer ride setup, but it's certainly not jarring. And these bucket seats feel as though they'd be reasonably comfortable even over longer distances. If I had to nitpick, I'd say the only thing wrong with it is an embarrassingly big turning circle, which might make things a little bit more difficult in tight spaces. It feels like it could be outdone by an oil tanker. But in the grand scheme of things, and considering this car's other talents, it's hardly a negative. This car has proved itself enjoyable enough when given even half a chance that having a few things that might get in the way of a perfect daily drive are hardly worth worrying about. It seems that the Ford Focus RS has everything: proper hot hatch looks, a comfortable everyday interior, and genuine driving talent. But all of that comes at a price. At 700,000 Rand, it is more expensive than its natural competition, and not too much cheaper than cars that some might say are a little bit more serious, things like the Mercedes-Benz A45 AMG and the BMW M2. And that price, combined with the fact that Ford are only bringing in 300 of these cars, means that the RS is going to be a rare pleasure. With 257 kilowatts, the Focus RS offers more power than its direct rivals, and with a brilliant all-wheel drive system, more involvement than some cars above its price bracket. As much as this car is about performance, it still offers very Ford Focus-like convenience, even if the harder ride setup can't offer the same comfort. But with a relatively high price and limited numbers, you're not going to see too many of these around.